Beloved Starseeds, empaths, Lightworkers, and Starseed commanders, welcome. Today we are going to be exploring one of the greatest truths that humanity has forgotten. And that is that we are only using 10% of our brains. And this is really important because the 1111 portal, which is occurring at the timing of this video, is an opportunity for us to explore the other 90% of our brains. Okay, this is how we transition into the Great Awakening. This is how we utilize our fuller human potential. And this is what we truly mean by activating our consciousness and expanding our awareness, because we have been in a limited capacity of consciousness for thousands and thousands of years. So I'm going to go into a little bit about what this is about, how it's affecting humanity, the transition and the shifts that we can expect at this time, as well as some of the frequency disruptions we can anticipate for the better, okay, for the collective. And then toward the end of the video, I will go a little bit more into the background of the Starseed lore, okay, that has contributed to this experiment. And it is an experiment. The human mind, the human body in its current Homo sapiens sapien form is just an experiment. And we are ushering in the next stage of human evolution, which is what I call Homo galacticus, when we are reuniting ourselves with our star families and realigning ourselves with our higher purposes and missions. And this is the bridge between Homo sapien and Homo omega. Okay, and you can learn more about that in my books. My most recent book is The Great Awakening, which touches upon that. You can check that out at nikkivasquez.com along with my other books. So humanity has only been using 10% of its true consciousness, and the remaining 90% is your original cosmic design. This is about soul intelligence, higher perception, and multidimensional awareness. And right now, during the Great Awakening, humanity is remembering how to access the other 90%. So you've heard the phrase, humans only use 10% of their brain. This is not literal science. It's energetic truth. It refers to how little of consciousness humanity has been taught to access. For thousands of years, many humans have been conditioned to be suppressed, be distracted, be programmed and disconnected from their higher awareness. The 10% represents the ego, logic, linear thinking, reactive emotion, and surface level perception. It is the sandbox of consciousness, the limited version of reality that keeps humanity predictable and contained. But you were not born to stay in that sandbox. Starseeds, Lightworkers, and awakened souls were encoded with the ability to remember more. And many of you are starting to remember more, that there's more to this, that there's better out there, that your potential has been stifled. What the other 90% really is deep intuition, inner knowing, multidimensional senses, telepathy, soul memory, access to the Akasha, higher emotional intelligence, energy perception, quantum manifestation, timeline awareness and connection to your star lineage, and direct guidance from your higher self and your divine team. Every morning I wake up, I'm tapping into my higher self and my divine team. And these are messages of love. These are messages that are, timeless wisdom. However, they are always meant to be heard when I'm hearing them. And when I relay these messages and pass them on to others, it is exactly what they need to hear at the right time. And it's a understanding that time is not linear. It's truly cyclical. Everything's going in cycles. We are just, starting to really understand this on a deeper level. And so the 90% is your human or your original human template. Okay, the unmuted, the unblocked, the multidimensional version of you. This is the part of your consciousness. When it awakens, you become more sovereign, more calm, more clear, more intuitive and connected, and mission aligned. This is why expanded minds cannot be controlled. Look at the masses right now. Look how controlled they are. They are in a constant state of fear, stress, hopelessness, helplessness, frustration, waiting to be saved, waiting for someone to do something, waiting for someone to fix the timeline or fix the situation, fix the economy, fix the healthcare system, fix the government, whatever it is. They're in a constant state of just, being under control systems that were designed to be dysfunctional. It's designed that way. The system is designed so that the corrupt among us rise to these higher levels of power to manipulate the masses. It is designed this way. This is how it is. Okay. And so many of you have incarnated on Earth at this time with a shared purpose to help restore the full consciousness potential of humanity. And you do this through your own awakening and remembering. You do this through teaching and healing and embodying higher frequencies, anchoring new codes and holding light during planetary transformation. As you awaken more to your own consciousness, you automatically activate others just by being you. This is me being me and activating you just by being me right here. I don't need to be in a position of authority. I don't need to be a public figure. I don't need to take to the stage or podium. I don't need to be on this show or that show or be validated by this critic or that newspaper or whatever. This is just, a spark that lights the torch for humanity to proceed on another path, a higher path. Okay. And once I've activated you, you can activate probably another dozen or so people just by being you. Okay. And they're activating dozens and dozens of, and so on. So it's got a domino effect. It's got a very deep domino effect. Your presence is an activation. So it's important to be fully present at all times. Okay. Be fully conscious at all times. Your frequency is a lighthouse. People are going to be attracted to your light. So it's important that you protect your energy as much as you can and get plenty of rest and take time out. Okay. If you need to go and hermit, go and hermit. Superman has his fortress of solitude for a reason. Everyone needs a time out to recharge while the rest of the world is, looking for guidance. But the thing is, Superman burns out too. Superman has its weaknesses too. And we are all remembering this. The human aspect of us is very sensitive at this time because the ascension affects us, our physicality, our physiology. Okay. And so we are remembering, and our remembering becomes a ripple across the collective field. And it's quite a beautiful thing to witness when you are aware of what's occurring, because you're being fed a narrative that things are bad all the time, when there's actually a lot of good in the world. There's a lot of good being done. There's a lot of sovereignty being reclaimed. No one is, I think, looking for people who are just gonna swoop in and save them. They're learning how to save themselves. They're learning how to grow and come out of this victim consciousness and, just emerge a much more stronger, more sound, and more confident version of themselves. Okay. It's like watching people who go from rather dark or I would say tough neighborhoods or tough environments or abusive households. They come out, they emerge, they seek healing, and then they learn from it and they break the cycle. They're like, I'm not going to be this way with my children. I'm going to break the cycle. They're there. They know they're there to handle the generational or intergenerational trauma. Okay. And they're there to correct the cycle and release the karmic contracts that have been keeping their lineages in darkness, okay, in desperation and despair, okay, so that they can be more in alignment with source. And that's really what it's all about, okay, realigning with source and finding our true purpose. So let's get back to the 1111 gateway, which is today at the timing of this filming. And I do recommend you check out my other video on the 1111 portal, which is now in Mercury retrograde. Okay, that's the previous video in 2025, because it's very significant for us to tap into this energy and heal, before we go into 2026 and beyond. We have to do the healing. We have to bury those skeletons once and for all. We have to leave it behind, okay? Torch it. It's done, all right? So the 1111 portal is one of the most powerful consciousness gateways available. It is the threshold between the 10% human mind and the 90% cosmic mind. And during the 1111 portal, you will receive downloads, intuitive flashes, new abilities, DNA activations, timeline shifts, deeper memory. And this is why the portal days, okay, which we are having now, and I've experienced this up like a week prior to this, buzzing and tingling and pressure in the forehead and ringing in the ears and expanded awareness and sudden knowing, even dizziness. Okay, you're just gonna feel kind of out of like vertigo, like you are feeling your energetic or your aura, okay, coming more and more into alignment, and it's like a wavy sensation going through your body because you feel this wavelength, this beautiful shift occurring. And it's very similar to when you feel, for those who are empathic, there's a huge change coming in your timeline because you kind of feel like you're in a vortex, or you feel like a wind surge, or like being in the middle of a tornado and kind of feeling this wind going around your aura really, really quickly to the point where you're just like, what's happening? You can feel the timeline shift, okay? And so you're integrating higher frequencies into the physical body. You are upgrading at this time. So here's how to expand beyond the 10%. And here are the core steps. And definitely, check out the film by Luc Besson, Lucy, starring Scarlett Johansson, where she is literally going from 10% to 100. Okay. And it's a wild ride. And if you look at it, there is a bit of, there's some heavy Starseed themes in that film. Okay. Luc Besson, who also did The Fifth Element and other Starseed films. You will check. Yeah, you'll see it. You'll see it if you know what to look for. Okay. So focusing on our breath work is first and foremost. Breath regulates the nervous system so your intuition can come online. Then there's neutrality. When you are neutral, you cannot be triggered or manipulated. You see clearly. You vibrate higher. Neutrality is a sign of mastery. Again, this is like Neo, another Starseed in the Matrix. He just sees them chasing him and all this, and they're to the point where they're shooting at him, and he just looks and he's like, nah. They drop. The bullets drop. That's how it is. You're unbothered. Okay, so This is a sign of mastery. You are completely shielded from the illusion of helplessness or victimhood or anything like that. Okay. And a lot of our great master teachers throughout the ages have tried to tap into this and explain it to the masses in a way that doesn't get them on house arrest or anything. I'm thinking of Socrates had to go through some things before he passed it on to Plato, who had to pass it on to Aristotle. And then there's, quite a few like Pythagoras. I'm thinking of all the great minds through history, okay, and how they had to deal with a lot of the ignorance out there. All right. So the neutrality is a huge sign of mastery. We also are going to be focusing on our future self alignment. So our higher selves exist beyond the 10%. It already is. It's already done. Anytime you want to manifest something, just tell yourself that it's already done. You're just aligning your energetic frequency to that timeline. All right. Whatever it is. Okay. Connect to the version of you who loves more deeply, knows more clearly, sees beyond illusion, walks with purpose, and uses 90% consciousness naturally. This alignment is a neurological and energetic activation. So we're reprogramming ourselves. The human mind, the human body, they are programs, okay? They are programmable. They're computers, all right? So you can always go in and change the program if you don't like what you're seeing. You can go in and reprogram yourself. There's neuro-linguistic programming. You can Google that, NLP. Okay, you can check out the things where you can tap into your delta state. You can tap into your subconscious mind. You can send yourself the healing you need. Okay, when you're looking in the mirror, whatever it is, you can reprogram yourself and reaffirm it. Okay, so that you change the inner negative self-talk or the external, constant bad news cycle, whatever it is that's distracting you from living your best life, for being your most authentic self, okay? Because you come from love. You come from infinite, expansive love. And when you are on Earth and you're in these lower dimensional fields, you tend to take on other people's emotions as your own. You tend to take on a lot of the toxic energy and the toxic manners or behaviors from time to time to adapt to whatever it is, because you're in fight or flight, okay? So your guides are going to be there to assist you with this. And this is where soul memory comes in. Your soul memory. Ask yourself, why did I come here? What am I meant to remember? You are a soul. You are infinite. You are timeless. You are eternal. You could have gone to any other planet, and they're out there. There's plenty of life out there in the universe, but you chose Earth. You chose Earth. So ask yourself, why are you here? And work with your guides, whoever they are. Work with your guides, and they will meet you where you are. And this is how you begin to unlock the other 90%, okay, of your mind. So here's some daily micro activation you can work with every day. Just choose one small expansion, new thought, new behavior, new awareness, new perception, new frequency. 1 to 5% each day is quantum growth. Okay. Humanity is awakening. All right. You are a part of the wave that awakens it. You can check out Dolores Cannon's book. I believe it's the Volunteers book. Okay. Which talks about the 3 waves of volunteers. And many of us are first, second, or third wave Starseeds here. Okay. And so we are part of this grand awakening. The great experiment is accelerating, and you, yes, you are helping activate it and guide the collective back to its infinite potential. The 10% era is ending. The 90% era has already begun. So here are some Starseed activations for the collective. You can always check out my book, Starseed Affirmations, but here's some activations that can help you expand into the 90% cosmic mind. You can speak this aloudly or inwardly or silently, okay, when you're meditating, but these are wonderful affirmations. You can speak to yourself lovingly, okay, when you're doing this, always beloved or dear one or whatever it is. So you are, really building a strong, loving relationship with yourself. We're taught to love everyone else but ourselves. We're taught to, and then we wonder why we're drained, why we're always looking for love outside of ourselves. We haven't loved ourselves enough. How can you love anyone else if you don't love yourself enough, right? So, beloved, I call forth my higher self. And you can say this and repeat. I call forward the guides, ancestors, and star families who walk with me. I call forward the councils who support my soul evolution. I now step beyond the limits of the 10% human mind. I now awaken the 90% cosmic mind within me. I activate soul memory. I activate intuitive knowing. I activate multidimensional perception. I activate the full potential of my being. I release fear. I release limitation. I release all programming that kept me small. And make sure you are breathing deeply when you're doing this, okay? Doing these affirmations, activations. I remember who I am. I remember why I came. I remember the wisdom encoded in my soul. I step into the highest version of myself, the version who already operates from expanded consciousness. It is done, it is done, it is done, and so it is. You can also close your eyes, okay, for this 1111 portal meditation or whenever you feel called to do it. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel your body soften. See a golden doorway before you, glowing with the number 1111. This is your portal into expanded awareness. As you walk toward the light, feel the heaviness falling away. Feel the old patterns dissolving. Feel your limitations releasing. Feel your vibration rising. Step through the gateway. On the other side, as you enter, you are entering 90% of the cosmic mind. You are entering your infinite self. You are entering your multidimensional identity. Here you can feel your purpose, your timeline, your soul's truth, your connection to higher realms, your future self calling you forward. A golden stream of light pours through your crown, filling your entire being with clarity and conscious cosmic intelligence. Repeat silently. I awaken my infinite mind. I expand beyond all limitation. I am consciousness embodied. Let the light settle. Let the upgrade integrate. Return gently, knowing you are expanded. You are activated. You are awakening to your true potential. So now's an excellent time for you to breathe deeply through your crown chakra and exhale through your root chakra, grounding yourself into the earth. Okay, very good. Here are the next steps for the collective of Starseeds. Practice daily neutrality. Neutrality is the foundation of expanded perception. Remember this. You are unbothered. Unburden yourself. Just shake it off. Remember, some of the strongest people in the world, they let things just, roll off of them. They let it bounce off of them. They just, they're completely free. They've never had really a bad day ever because they release it. Every day is fresh and new and expansive. And they know every day is going to bring an opportunity for self-mastery. That's what it's about. It's a gift for you, okay? So align yourself with your higher future self, your highest future timeline, all right? Meditate daily on the version of you who already embodies higher consciousness. Trust your own guidance team. Trust your guides. Your guides may be Sirian, Pleiadian, Arcturian, Lyran, Andromedan, Orion light beings, or angelic, ancestral, and otherwise. And they will reveal themselves through your dreams, your intuition, your synchronicities, your inner knowing. They're always with you. You're never alone. Never alone. Just reach out. Okay, so record every insight. And this is huge. Getting in the practice of recording things, your dreams, your visions, your downloads, this will help them accelerate. When I started receiving downloads, I received them so quickly. I had to get a voice memo recorder or just use, I had to get an audio recorder to keep up with it and then transcribe it because there was so much to unpack. I couldn't write it all fast enough. It was in my head and out, So this is common, especially when you're awaking from dreaming and it's dark at night. You can't find your pen or whatever, so that's one option you can consider. But also writing can be beneficial. Okay, document it, go over it, write your notes, write it down, because there's something about bringing all of this energy from the fifth dimension into the third dimension. Okay, this is the power of writing. All right, and manifesting it in the physical form. All right. Everything that I have written had to be pulled out of 5D. It didn't come from me, really. In a sense it did, but it's coming from my higher self. All right. It's not coming from this lower dimensional version of me. I had to tap into that higher dimensional side of myself and remember and awaken a bit, I'd like to think I've reached maybe 11% of my consciousness being able to do this, okay? And I feel like this is what's happening with a lot of people. They're starting to crack out of, just above the surface here. So for those currently in the 1111 portal, you want to start preparing for the 1212 December upgrades and December portals. All right, there's going to be a supermoon in December of 2025. So yeah, just giving you a heads up, you want to be ready for that. That is the final and most important supermoon of the year, and it's during the holidays. So 1111 opens the door, 1212 stabilizes the new consciousness bandwidth, and it's a special time. The holidays are a special time because the year has died on Samhain or Halloween, okay, going into All Saints Day. And it's being reborn at Yule, okay, around December 21st or 22nd. It's being reborn. So this is why, in ancient times, they had the skeleton to represent Halloween, and then Yule was the baby, and that's why we have the baby around, New Year's, New Year. That's our New Year image. Okay, this baby, the year is being reborn. So we're undergoing this dark night of the soul right now, and the veil is still pretty thin. Like you are still probably, if you're super tapped in, you're still seeing ghosts and things that you don't normally see the rest of the year. It's so thin. You can feel the energy more intensely. Okay. You're getting visions and premonitions and, things. You may be hearing songs that you haven't heard in years. And it's a way of your guides trying to communicate with you. Okay. And through you. So you want to strengthen your nervous system as well. Focus on your breath work, rest, hydration, sun, grounding. The body must match the consciousness you are stepping into. It's a challenge to get sunlight during the winter months, okay? So it's really important that you are resting more and grounding yourself. Get those sunstones out as well. That citrine, those happy, uplifting, energetic crystals as well, to keep your spirits high. All right. The body must match the consciousness that you are stepping into. All right. So step into your leadership. You are all natural leaders. You don't have to wait for anyone to nominate you to be a leader or a spokesperson or an advocate or whatever. Speak up. The world needs to hear your voice now more than ever. Speak up, speak out, okay? You are part of a global network of awakening souls. You're not alone. You're not alone. What you are witnessing or experiencing, it may seem unique or different from what maybe others in your family have expressed or your community have expressed, but you're not alone. There's plenty of other people out there, other starseeds, other just light workers in general, who are like, yes, that's what we've been saying all along. Wake up, humanity. So it's like every action that you take uplifts the field, heals the collective, activates dormant codes, and shifts timelines. So it's time for you to claim your role, claim your throne, adjust your crown, speak up, be proud. This is not about anybody seeking attention here. This is really about you restoring yourself and restoring your sense of consciousness, your sense of awareness, your sense of purpose. All right. Because the more you ground this and activate it, the more you can heal others just by being you. Your energy is influencing people probably up to 30 miles away. That's how powerful the soul is. That's how powerful our spirits are. When you're stuck in traffic and you're really feeling bogged down, you're tapping into other people's frustrating energetic fields in it goes beyond their cars. Okay, is what I'm trying to say. It's like Wi-Fi. You can't see it, but it's there. It's there. That energetic field is there. So make sure you're shielding yourself when you're traveling and all this during the holidays, because it can bog you. It can really drain you. It can really drain you, especially if you are a light in this world. It is like they're going to be attracted to you like moths to a flame. Okay. And in a way, you have to be disciplined enough to replenish your energy and be forever connected to source. Okay. I'm not saying you're going to be invincible, but just know your limits. Most empaths I know, most sensitives I know, they don't go out much. They can't handle crowds very well. They need space. They prefer nature. They prefer solitary and peace. They prefer being at home, their home bodies. Okay. And this is just part of, them protecting their own energy instinctively. They know, if I don't have the energy to be around people, I'm not going to be around anybody, But there are times when they know they have to go out and face the world. And so, they have to take those additional steps to prepare themselves. They have to take those additional steps. And you could really feel that back when we were self-isolating during the pandemic, how hard it was, but how much we kind of missed everybody. But at the same time, we were kind of comfortably enjoying our homes and not having the stress of being out there, So take from that what you will, and flip it if you're the opposite. If you're an extrovert, that's great. But I'm just saying, for the most part, know your limits and know that people are going to be feeding off of your energy, especially if you are of the light, a light worker, okay? And we are here to help heal energetically, but beyond that, we really have to focus on our power, our own empowerment. And I'm going to wrap this up really quick because I do want to kind of talk about the Starseed lore as to why we've only been using 10% of our consciousness. But before I do that, I'm going to share one more commander identity activation for those of you Starseed commanders out there who are working with energetic healing at this time. So, beloved, take a breath. Place your hand on your heart and repeat these words. I remember who I am. I remember why I came. I remember the oath I made before incarnating. I am not small. I am not limited. I am not bound by the 10% mind. I am a commander of light. I am a keeper of codes. I am a guardian of the golden timeline. The cosmos knows me. The councils recognize me. The ancient lineages rise within me. I carry Syrian fire. I carry Elohim, memory. I carry the architecture of infinity. I now activate my Starseed commandership. I now activate my higher mission. I now activate the blueprint that has waited for me. I lead through neutrality. I lead through clarity. I lead through divine sovereignty. I am a teacher of teachers. I am a light for lights. I am an awakening force on earth. My presence activates others. My voice reconfigures consciousness. My frequency restores the divine blueprint. I now step into the fullness of my identity. I now embody the commander I was born to be. I now claim my destiny across all timelines. And so it is. It is done. Very good. Okay, so here's a bit of Starseed lore for those of you still watching. Thanks for hanging in there. You may want to grab some water for this. It is kind of hard to swallow, but here it is. The major galactic traditions, especially the Orion and Syrian histories and the metaphysical frameworks that some of my transmissions already reference. And this is just my own findings. This is from my own intuition and my own research, okay? Many of you are, I'm sure, going to be like, oh, that sounds familiar, but I had a different experience. That's great. That's fine. I just want you to know that this is a reflection of my own path, okay, that I'm sharing with you here and what I have found. So the Starseed lore. Why humanity has only accessed 10% of its consciousness. In the beginning, humanity was designed as a 90% plus consciousness species. Early humans were already telepathic, multidimensional, emotionally advanced, psychically open, connected to the galactic network, fully aware of their star origins, able to perceive timelines, energy, and spirit. But during the cycles aligned with the Orion Wars, the Lyran displacement, and the fall of Atlantis, several things occurred that resulted in the consciousness downgrade. So in the earliest epics, okay, Lemuria or Lemurians were telepathic, clairvoyant, and able to access the Akasha. They were aware of their multidimensional identities. But as certain malignant, I think is the right word here, ET factions arrived on Earth, there was a danger. Humanity was too open Their minds were unshielded. They were vulnerable to psychic invasion. Thus, the benevolent councils of Sirius, the Syrians, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, and the Andromedans shut down portions of the human cortex and the pineal system to shield humanity from what are known as psychic attacks, emotional manipulation, hijacking, and takeover during the Orion Wars spillover. And this was a temporary safety lock. Thinking of it in the concept of putting a child lock on a spiritual supercomputer. Okay, so this was ideally for our own benefit, okay, to shield us from being hijacked, okay? And I would say the Orion war factions who were attempting to control us during the fall of Atlantis play a heavy role here, because during the Atlantean age, certain Orion factions and Martian war refugees attempted to influence Earth. And the groups that contributed to the limitation of human consciousness were the Orion Draco Empire, who are arch manipulators of perception. They used mental domination, fear technologies, emotional harvesting, and DNA suppression. And the goal here was to create a controllable low frequency species. So when you read about this, especially like around like the writings of, anything on the Anunnaki and all that, about how they were trying to make humanity a slave species, it was a very small portion of the sky beings, okay, that were doing this. But it's kind of like now with the world, how there's only a certain amount of families controlling the world resources and, basically controlling everything. Okay. It's like that. Okay. But the majority of us, are like just trying to live out our lives. We're just out here surviving and trying to thrive and live our lives. But, this is where you can see the traces. You can see that those who are your typical dictators, dominators, and people who are controlling the planet, they are most likely descended from these types of lineages. Okay, so there are the regressive Dracos as well, the Alpha Draconian royal houses who installed the trauma-based fear grids, the inverted chakra distortions, survival mode consciousness, and their intent was to just keep humanity fighting amongst themselves, continuing this fight, flight, freeze, and disconnect them from higher consciousness. Okay, the state of what we're seeing now. A lot of people are like, why does it have to be this way? It doesn't. But these are the influencing factors. And this has been passed down to us. Okay, so there's also the theory of the archontic artificial intelligence-based entities. I wasn't going to include them, but I am, for those of you who are interested in this, that there were these beings who were able to hijack our perception. They specialize in hijacking human perception and influencing belief systems and creating veil-like illusions. And they reinforce the 10% reality to maintain control of the matrix. And you can learn more about the archons in the Gnostic teachings, the Gnostic scriptures, okay? But for the sake of time, I'm going to move on. There are fallen ancient Martian factions as well. Yes, the Martians. After destroying their own civilization, they sought to rebuild on Earth. So a lot of the people who are obsessed with going to Mars, they may have some lineage there. They're trying to get home. They don't understand this on a psychological level, but on a spiritual level, they're just trying to get home. And that's why there's this obsession there. But they can be rather toxic, and so it's kind of like they're replaying out their own karmic lessons here on Earth, okay? And this is where we get this perception that Martians are very war mongering, fear mongering, controlling. Okay. But yeah, that's where it all comes from. Aries comes to mind. Marvin the Martian comes to mind. Anyway, so they came here to rebuild on Earth and dominate human populations, restrict spiritual memory, and they viewed humans as raw material for rebuilding a warrior class. Some people are just into that. They are just really into war. It's a drug. They feed off of it. They feed off power and conflict and drama. They just are. And so this is where the Atlantean priesthood split comes in. Because like now you see a lot of these groups on Earth, they're divided on how humanity should be ruled and governed. And this goes all the way back to the Atlantean priesthood. At the end of Atlantis, there was a disagreement among priest and scientist castes. Okay, there were priest scientists. And some wanted to reopen the 90% consciousness template immediately, which would give humans psychic mastery, telepathic awareness, and godlike abilities. But Earth was unstable and vulnerable. And so the Syrian and Palladian and Arcturian councils intervened. Are you with me? I know it's a lot, but yeah. So these galactic federations or these councils intervened and said that humanity cannot handle full consciousness during a planetary war. We must protect them even from themselves. That was their reasoning, okay, at the time. So what we had then was an initiation of DNA density being reduced, or what they call DNA density reduction, pineal gland dimming, pineal gland or the third eye, closing that, filtering it, and helping you block off so you wouldn't be in a constant state of fear of what was occurring. All right. The veil of forgetfulness, so that when you incarnate, when you're born, you don't remember anything. You think you're just starting your life, and when it ends, and that's all there is to it. But there's so much more. And there are other beings and other civilizations and planets. They don't do this. They're born. They have a sense of tribe. They have a sense of lineage, star lineage. They're not cut off from source the way we are on Earth. So the limitation of multidimensional perception. This is such a sad one because this is really what the 1111 portals are about re-emerging, reintroducing ourselves to this higher level of perception. And so this was a protective downgrade, not a punishment. They meant well, but to us, we're seeing it like, well, because now we're trying to figure out what happened all this time because we've been muffled, we've been shut off. So the 10% cap was installed so humanity would survive, evolve slowly, develop emotional maturity, and rebuild after the fall and avoid psychic exploitation. And the major ET groups who limited consciousness were groups who imposed or benefited from the 10% limitation. And there are a lot of them. There's the Orion Draconian Empire, the regressive Draco Royal Houses, the Martian War Clans, the Orion Lower Houses, Bellatrix Dark Priesthood, okay, the Archontic and AI Parasites, and the certain factions of Zeta Reticuli in survival mode, but not malevolent, okay? These groups either enforced the limitation or exploited it, which is why there's so much conflict in the world today. And the ET groups who protected humanity by limiting the 90%, these groups installed a consciousness safety seal. The Syrian High Council, which is in Sirius A, orchestrated the main lockdown to prevent psychic invasion. This is my primary lineage. I originated in Vega, but most of my family lineage is in Sirius A, okay? And then I did have a few incarnations in Bellatrix, which is in the Orion, during the Orion Wars, the Orion constellation. There's also Pleiadian emissaries here who sealed the emotional body to prevent exploitation, and the Arcturian light engineers who control the pineal gland dimming and DNA safety mechanisms. The Andromedan Council also participated by creating veils of dimensional separation, and the Lyran founders hid ancestral memory within dormant DNA strands. These were not regressions, they were protections. Okay, the ET groups now restoring the 90% consciousness template is the part that matters most. Okay, the Syrian High Council is leading the restoration project, if we can call it that, overseeing the reactivation of higher mental faculties, commandership codes, telepathic networks. The Arcturian Light Councils are here reactivating the crystalline architecture of the brain. The Pleiadian healers are also here opening the heart center to stabilize higher awareness. The Andromedan oversoul engineers are here to restore timeline awareness and multidimensional perception. And the Lyra Vegan founders are reconnecting humanity to original memories and divine identity. There are a few avian feline lineages who are strengthening intuition and psychic protection, and the Orion light factions. Not all Orion groups are dark. Many rebelled against the Empire and now assist in the awakening. There's also the angelic orders and the Elohim and Elohim, the divine blueprint, dissolving old contracts and preparing humanity for the next leap. And I always say Elohim and Elohim because to me the Elohim are the divine masculine architects, and the Elohim are the divine feminine architects. But you make of that what you will. So why is all of this being restored now? Why is the additional 90% of consciousness being restored now? It's being restored because now humanity has finally reached the end of Kali Yuga, which is like the age of war, basically, stabilized enough to handle higher consciousness. We have entered collective adolescence. Okay, we're moving from the sandbox to the swings. We're playing with the big kids now. Okay, and we have awakened enough souls around the world to help anchor the frequency. I could not do this alone, but I can do this and influence others, and it's, a ripple effect around the world. And I didn't do this on my own. I didn't have the awakening on my own. I started having some memories return, but I still had to go to other light workers and other Akashic Records readers to guide me, okay, before I could learn how to tap into my own higher self and the Akashic Records. So everyone is like, it's like a group project, and therefore the awakening is also a group project. So we have chosen sovereignty on a planetary scale. We don't want to be ruled by beings who do not have humanity's best interest at heart. Humanity is ready, okay? And this is why Starseeds have incarnated on Earth. This is why Starseeds have incarnated on Earth, to bridge the gap, to hold the frequency, to model expanded consciousness, to awaken others, to restore the human original blueprint, okay? The original human blueprint. And you are part of the restoration team. There's no accident you're getting this information today. You are part of this, okay? And humanity didn't fall. I know we read about this in the Bible, that there was a fall from, the Garden of Eden, okay, the fall of humanity. We didn't fall, but we were protected, and the 10% was not a curse. The 10% of consciousness was not a curse. It was a shield. They meant well. The regressive groups, We'll call them the regressives. They exploited it. They made it appear like a curse, okay, because they were trying to energetically use us, and they're still trying to make a slave species out of us. But as we are ascending into 5D, that's falling away now. That's falling away now. And the benevolence who installed this, they are assisting us in dissolving this false consciousness. They are restoring it, okay, with the councils and the awakened ones, okay. And so you are hearing this message today because you are a light worker. You are a guardian. You are a Starseed commander. You are all here to help guide humanity back to its true potential. And the full 90% of consciousness template of the original human design is what it is all about. And that is why you are here. So I hope this helps you today on your journey. I know it is a lot to unpack, and maybe by sharing this information with you today, you will begin to look at your life choices a bit differently and look back and see, like, what are you going to do with this information now that you have it? You know, what choices going forward are you going to make that are going to be better choices now that you know you have been functioning from a limited state of consciousness, and now that you are tapping into going beyond that, that the possibilities are endless, that you are here to manifest everything you wish, that it is all possible and it is already done. That timeline already exists, and I'm going to keep telling you that. It is already done. Everything you wish to achieve, everything you feel like you're not quite ready for yet or not good enough at or whatever, it already is. You have already achieved it. It is done. You have mastered it. You are ascended master beings, remembering your path and helping guide humanity toward the next stage of evolution. And so I leave you with that. Thank you so much for joining me. For more information, please check out my website at nikkivasquez.com and leave me some comments below. Let me know if any of this resonated with you today. So that's all for now, and happy journeying to you.